What's going on, everybody? So now that the football season is here, I can officially say that we will now have Browns After Dark Sunday night, Monday night, and if that is not enough for you, we got another one on Thursday. So if you've ever said to yourself, hey, I wonder where I can meet with people and talk about the Browns, that is the place for you. Check us out at Browns After Dark on Twitter. The link will be in the description down below. Times will also be posted on that Twitter page, so be sure to give us a follow, turn on your notifications, and come let us know what you think. We want to know your thoughts, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there. All right, everybody, welcome to the Browns Beat podcast. We just had a little bit of a heart attack because I thought we were live because I hit record and it said live, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. You suck, apparently, again. Nice that I pay for a premium subscription to StreamYard just for it to give me a heart attack. So with that being said, we just got finished talking a little bit of college football. That was nice. So if you have not already, that is going to be a separate video. So go check that out. I'll put it in the, top of the screen thing. It's got like an eye. You get what I'm talking about. YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Click that. I'll put the video in there. I'll also put it at the end. But go check that out. Let us know your thoughts. We ranked the quarterbacks for this upcoming class, Heisman stuff, whatever. It was a little bit spicy. But yeah. Oh my gosh. Edit that out.
Yes.
But we're here to talk about a winning football team, Tristan. A winning football team. Can you
yes,
believe
sir.
it? Can you believe we finally have a winning football team to talk about in Cleveland, Ohio? Unbelievable.
The birds are chirping. The air is crisper. And the Browns still own the Cincinnati Bengals. It's who they? Nah, it's where they at.
And then the Cincinnati Bengals went on to absolutely obliterate. Who'd they play Sunday? Was it Jacksonville?
No, it's Panthers.
Panthers. Good call. Panthers.
I thought Baker Mayfield was going to make a second half comeback for a second.
Hey, yeah. I was like, I was working. I was watching that game at work, and I looked over and I told the guy I work with, because he's a Browns fan too. I was like, "Hey, Keith." Well, whatever. You guys don't know him. I don't care. I can say his name. Sorry, Keith, if you watch this. But Keith, I was like, hey, isn't it funny that we killed the Bengals, but the Bengals are out here killing other teams? And then halfway through, I was like, oh, Baker Mayfield's in. Watch him come back and win this game, just because it's the Bengals. But yeah, of course, it didn't happen. But nevertheless, Browns had a bye week. Trade deadline came and passed, so we'll talk about that. Browns got the Dolphins Sunday. So let's talk about this Bengals game, because me and you have yet to talk about this. Tristan, I probably know your answer, but what was your reaction to the Cleveland Browns finally growing a pair of balls and playing the Cincinnati Bengals? And would you like to play the Bengals every single week? Because I think I would like to.
Absolutely. We would be the first 17-0 team in history if we played the Bengals every single week. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think that I left that game. I didn't leave the game. I was at home watching it, but I think
you left the couch.
Yeah, right. No, I was actually sitting right here. I watched the games on my PC, but I got done watching that game, and for me, I felt like, you know what, that is the Browns team that we've been supposed to see this whole time. And like, damn right, like finally, like, thank you for showing up against our rival, because man, that first drive that the Bengals had, they were going down the field, they were carving us up, and then what happens? 95 happens. It's like, fucking right, like, yes, and then, I thought the first half was not okay for Kevin. A lot of the same problems are popping back up for him. where he has a tough time adjusting in between the half. You know, I feel like coming out of the half, he's very, very good as far as like his opening drives. When he gets the ball first, right? Like he is super good at scheduling like an opening drive touchdown, like or opening drive red zone drive. He's done it a lot this year. The only guy that has his numbers is Bill Belichick. But you know, it's like the defense was everything I wanted to see this defense to be. And what was it? Well, we blitzed. We blitzed. And me and Derek had a great Twitter interaction. Yeah. Talking about like, who could have predicted this? Right.
Yeah,
and I quote funny. Yeah, and then I literally quote tweeted what I tweeted 20 minutes earlier. Like, okay, Joe, you like nice for the interception that we got, but you got to stop playing the soft zone on third down. Well, then what was happening? We were blitzing on third down. We weren't letting Joe Burrow get comfortable. We were attacking him. But not only that, but also I think part of the reason why the defense looks so good is because the Bengals do not have a solution for Myles Garrett. Every other team in the AFC North does. You look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, if you look at them league wide, they just throw the football very quickly. They don't have a guy sit in the pocket. So it's impossible for Myles to get pressure. The Ravens pretty much just double them, all night long. And they pretty much manufacture ways for Myles to not wreak havoc on the game. And the Bengals just don't do that. They don't double them. They don't, switch their game plan to throwing short. They don't care about Myles Garrett. And it's so disrespectful. And it's so nice to see Myles Garrett just be like, okay, you know what? Give me what I want. I'm going to kill you for it. And that's what he did. He took over the game. And this was what we wanted. This is what we've wanted to see out of Myles Garrett since day one. And it was such a great performance. Couldn't have been happier with him. Linebacking core, I thought Sione Takitaki had his best game in a Browns uniform. I mean, wow. I mean, I don't know what's happening, but like every time I talk about something about the Browns that I like next week or something that I think should happen, the next week, Browns Twitter hops on the hype train. Just saying, I'm fantastic at my job. What can I say? I'm just kidding. But because the previous week, we were talking about guys that might leave in free agency. And we were talking about that linebacking group. And I was like, man, I really want us to sign Sione Takitaki. Well, what happens? He ends up having the best game in his Browns uniform. And Browns Twitter's going crazy, telling Sione Takitaki to sign a damn contract. What can I say? Mm-hmm. What can I say? No, I'm just kidding. But I thought the defense showed out. This was easily Joe Woods' best performance of the year. Offensively, first half sucked. Second half was great.
Hey, can you do me a favor? I'm gonna we'll leave this in the podcast, but I need to go say something real quick. Just keep talking. I'll be right back. Just entertain the people.
You got it. So, I thought that the offense had their best performance yet in the second half, I should say. First half was brutal, but second half, it felt like the offense quite literally was unstoppable. I felt like the offense couldn't be stopped, even if the Bengals wanted to. I didn't think it was possible for them. So it was a great performance to see out of that offense in the second half, being able to turn it around. The special teams for me, I mean, Bjorkes, I think, had a shanked punt, which that was not great. But hey, you know what? He's had a great year for us so far. If there's any time for him to be bad, it was this game. Cade York, I thought looked fine. I thought he looked great. I just thought all around this team really showed up, and it needed to. But I will say this, in my opinion, part of the reason for it is I do not think Cincinnati is a well-coached team. I don't. I think that Zach Taylor, he's a one-trick pony. I don't think he can adjust. I don't think he can make adjustments. And I think teams that are able to exploit the Bengals' weaknesses will beat them. And the thing is, like, Cincinnati's a really talented team. You look at them offensively, they've got the best receiving core in the NFL. You've got Joe Burrow, who is a legit quarterback, and you've got Joe Mixon in the backfield, and you've got a absolutely terrible offensive line that they've put so much money and investment into. And you'd think, you know what, if your offensive line is your liability and your offensive line is your issue, that you'd be able to figure out ways to manufacture offense without having to rely on the offensive line being as great as they are, or without having the offensive line having to be greater than they are, is I guess what I should say. But for me, Zach Taylor's just not a great coach. And that's what this came down to for me. Zach Taylor's not a great coach. And the Browns offensively, Kevin Stefanski has had Lou Anarumo's number. Like, he has. And in the first half, Lou, the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, he showed his class. I think he's one of the better DCs in the NFL. I really do. But then that second half hit, Stefanski made his adjustments, and man, oh man, it was impossible for them to stop us. But I will also say they had some injuries at corner, which didn't help them. But hey, you know what? The game's the game. So, Derek, I've done my rambling. It's your turn. Tell me what you thought.
Thank you for doing that. For those who, I don't know if you could hear it in my background, but our kitchen is right there. Like, this wall right here is connected to the kitchen, and my mother thought it was a great idea to make it sound like World War III was happening right next to me, and all I heard the entire time was just bang, 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 and I was like, I don't know if y'all can hear it, but this microphone is not cheap, and it is designed to pick up sound and very well, and I didn't want y'all to think that I was getting shot at, because that's what it sounded like, or at least to me. So I don't know if you heard it in the background, but that is finished. Anyways, I missed what you said, but I probably agree with you 100%, as usual. So listen, for me, this game was a little bit frustrating to begin with, right? Because it was back and forth 0-0 for a long time. And I thought there were moments that the Browns could have capitalized on that we just didn't, and it was very frustrating. And then, of course, the turnovers. I mean, you can imagine. Obviously, it's very different watching a game after it's over, knowing the final result, versus watching it in real time. Because with turnovers, you have to take advantage of them, and if you do not, you could very easily lose, because you're quite literally getting a chance to go score from the other team. And for this game, a lot of times it was back and forth. The Browns had a turnover, the Bengals had a turnover, and then it was just kind of this mess, and we didn't take advantage. But good news is Cincinnati didn't either. And to your point, Myles Garrett, for whatever reason, becomes by far the best player in the NFL whenever he plays the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, it is Aaron Donald level domination. They can't guard him. I mean, there was one play where it was, I want to say it was Jonah Williams, Myles Garrett one-on-one, and they brought Samaje Perine over to chip block, and it was the spin move. It was the spin sack, and literally Samaje Perine comes off, right? Does that, kind of half jabs him, and then like just doesn't care and barely even gets a hand on him, because Myles is already wrapping up Joe Burrow. Like, they just don't know what to do. And it blows my mind, because to your point, you have examples from the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens in your division. Like, do you not watch the tape? Like, what is Zach Taylor doing that he's not saying, hey, you see what they did here? Maybe we should try it. Like, you would think that is something that would happen, but it just doesn't. And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, name me the last time that Myles Garrett has had a sack against the Steelers.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
a trivia question right there. I don't remember. That's how, like, he hasn't gotten anything against him. It might have been his rookie year last time that he's gotten a sack. I think a sack against them. Like they've learned. They've learned and they've adjusted, and the Bengals just haven't. But that was just feeding into your point. Keep on going, man.
No, yeah. I mean, Miles, I wish that was the Miles we got every single time. And again, it's not that he's not that, because that's who he is. Excuse me. But, when you just decide not to guard him, that's what's going to happen. I mean, that's just the reality. Again, Emerson was absolutely fantastic against the Bengals. Even the play that he gave up the touchdown, he got a hand on that ball. He literally went up, tipped it, and just got unlucky that it fell back into Higgins's hands or Boyd or whoever it was. So he played a fantastic football game. I have been blown away by what Martin Emerson has done. And I believe it's because they are letting him play his brand of football. My concern when we picked him was he's very physical. He gets hands on you. I was worried they were going to call that, A, because we're the Cleveland Browns, and B, because they call that a lot in the NFL nowadays. But they're letting him play his brand of football. So if that continues, he's going to be great. Like if Denzel Ward can get his, whatever his problem is figured out, we have 3 fantastic corners. 3. A lot of teams don't even have 1, and we have 3. So that's unbelievable to me. I thought the secondary as a whole played better than they have at times throughout the year. Again, I didn't see the Baltimore game, so I don't know what the comparison is. But I want to hit on your point here real quick. Sione Takitaki has found his role on this team, and I hope that this is what we see with him through the rest of the year. He needs to be that Mike linebacker where he is playing in this role because he can be very physical, very aggressive, and oh gosh, excuse me. I'm drinking Starbucks coffee, and the coffee grinds got a little bit of it, and it just got stuck right here. But when he can play in this role, he's fantastic. And he's a guy that I would be interested in signing on a cheap-ish 3-year deal just to keep around. Because in a linebacker room that's not great, he has a role. And this is a Dorsey draft pick. So we'll see what Andrew Berry thinks about him, but I think of him pretty highly. He's a special teams killer. He's great in this role, and I think he's still evolving. He's in his 4th year, and he's getting better and better. So I know what I forgot to talk about. The defensive line, the interior defensive line showed up. Taven Bryant showed up. Jordan Elliott showed up. This is what makes Joe Woods' defense successful. And it's funny how those guys can be successful when you blitz, when you give them help. It's funny how that works. Because guess what? They're not talented enough with just the 4 of them. They're not. They're not when Myles Garrett's getting double teamed, right? And obviously he wasn't, or he was, but not very well in this game. Yeah. But when you're bringing guys up blitzing, that helps out your interior defensive line because they don't have the responsibility that, you would have if there was no help. Go ahead, Tristan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. And I will say this as well. This is part of the thing I was saying where, part of it is they played really well. Part of it is Zach Taylor's just not a great coach because they completely abandoned running up the middle. Mm-hmm. They completely abandoned it, and we didn't even start scoring, and they abandoned it. And that for me was the losing decision from Zach Taylor. I mean, Joe Mixon could have had an absolute feast bet this game if he would have just shoved it right down the Browns' throat. Let him get 5-6 yards of carry and make the Browns stack the box. That's personally what I would have done if I was coaching against this Browns team. Make them stack the box, and then you hit them over the top because their secondary is not good enough. But secondary's been getting better, so I think that it's partially because yes, these D tackles did step up and have a good game, But also they got bailed out because I think Zach Taylor let him off the hook.
Yeah, Zach Taylor, it's crazy to me that they gave him the contract that they did because he's not great. I mean, I don't want to say it was a fluke that they got to the Super Bowl because they very well could have won it. But to give him that deal, I don't know. But offensively, real quick, did you talk about the offense or just the defense?
I did talk about the offense a little bit briefly. I said in the first half that they were very much underwhelming. But then the second half, they got it together and they were completely different. And they couldn't be stopped. So that was pretty much what I said. I didn't really go into too much depth. I was just too excited. I needed to talk about everything. So yeah. Give us some depth, Derek. What do you think about the offense? How do you think, as far as individuals, how do you think the individuals did today?
Well, there's a couple very, very bright signs. Very bright. And we'll see if you noticed as well. I know you did, but we'll talk about it. Michael Woods and David Bell got more involved in the offense. And again, the thing that kind of makes me worried about the Kevin Stefanski offense that we've seen is so far it has only been Amari Cooper, Njoku, occasionally DPJ will step up and have a good game every once in a while. But this was the first time that we have seen Cooper, DPJ, Bell, Woods, Njoku was out, but Harrison Bryant had a couple good plays. Like it was the first time that we've seen the Browns offensively spread the football. And that was great. That was awesome. That is what we need. And again, to your point, first half struggled. It was very frustrating. In fact, I was starting to become hey, we need to think about Kevin Stefanski. And I'm a big Stefanski guy. I love Kevin Stefanski. But early on in that game, I was becoming frustrated enough to the point where I was like, okay, maybe there needs to be a hard look at this because something's not right. But Kevin Stefanski figured it out, started running the football more effectively. Nick Chubb with an amazing hurdle, DPJ with an amazing hurdle. Like everything just came together on Halloween night for the Cleveland Browns. So offensively, I thought things got figured out very well. I was very happy. And the Mari Cooper catch that has kind of been the highlight reel where Jacoby, I forgot to mention, Jacoby looked very good. Like he looked really good. And it's a little bit bittersweet that he's coming to the end of his run here with the Browns shortly, next couple games or so. Because I got to tell you, I have been very happy to have Jacoby Brissett as my starting quarterback. And that throw to Cooper, where Cooper is going to the ground and literally catches the football with like the tip of his fingers, is unbelievable. Like that is so crazy. So overall offense, I would say they started off at like a D- and then moved up into probably a B+ A- for me. I mean, everything started coming together. Other than Jedrick Wills still sucks, and I'm sick and tired of people on Twitter defending him, talking about, oh, he's got the greatest passer rating. The dude is horrendous. Like, we need a new left tackle. I stand by that. We need a new left tackle. Move him to right tackle, right? Move him to right tackle. He was best at right tackle when he was in college. He was dominant, but my goodness, if this is the guy that we're going to have blocking for Deshaun Watson and he's going to stand around all the time, we got problems. We got problems.
Yeah, I mean, for me with Jed, I said this before, it's more of an effort thing. I think the talent's there. I think that when he's on and he's motivated, I think, you know what, he's pretty decent. He's pretty good. But he just doesn't have that motor. He doesn't want to bury guys' faces into the ground. If he gets beat, he gives up. That's
exactly.
I hate that. But and I'll say this. I mean, what's his name? Trey Hendrickson had his number in that first half. And then luckily Joel Bitonio, which was a clean shot, by the way, Joel Bitonio absolutely hammers his ribs, and it completely stopped them for the rest of the game, which, by the way, it was a clean move. It's what linemen are taught to do. And it's one of the reasons why Joel Bitonio is one of the best in the league, is because he's so violent as a guard. And
which is weird because he's not a nasty guy, but man, between those lines on the field, it comes out.
Well, and same thing with Wyatt Teller. I mean, they're both just like naturally, like, decent guys. They just seem like they're nice and relaxed, and it's like they get it all out on the football field. It's intense. It's
hold on. We can't have this conversation without bringing this up. James Hudson took, what's his name? Logan Wilson took his soul from him. I mean, I have never seen. First of all, this is how funny Kevin Stefanski is, because he literally said, all right, we're the Cleveland Browns. We know who we are. Let's take every single offensive lineman that we have available, put them in front of you, right, and give the ball to Nick Chubb. But not only give the ball to Nick Chubb with every offensive lineman we have, coached by Bill Callahan, let's take 66, who used to play defensive tackle and is used to having to be ferocious. You get what I'm saying? Used to being pissed off. Go from one side of the line and run to the other side to lay you out. I mean, Logan Wilson, God bless him, man, because if you watch his body language when he realized what was coming, oh my gosh, the brick that was in the bottom of his shorts, because, I mean, my goodness, that was crazy. That was nuts. I'll try to put that clip in here if I can, but man.
Oh no. It was lovely. But not only that, but one of the other things I was talking about was in the red zone, I wanted the Browns to impose their will. And that's why I got excited there. It's because I remember it was either last week or the week before, it was in one of them where we were having red zone issues. And I said, I just wish that Kevin Stefanski would just put a boatload of linemen on the field and just run it down the other team's throats, because they can't stop it. And he did that this game, and it worked. It worked. And that James Hudson clip, man, it makes me laugh so hard. Oh my gosh. Because in my head, I just when he starts running, it's like, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. My gosh. Yeah. She'll be coming around the mountain. And then he just boom. And then he's like, Arr! He's running away with the arm in the air. It's like, holy shit.
Dude, that is every lineman's dream, to get a full running start against. And I want this to be clear. Logan Wilson is no scrub. I love Logan Wilson as a player. He's really good.
He's very good.
And I mean, the fear of God that was put in him by James Hudson was absolutely hilarious. And I hope we see that again, because I forget who it was talking about it. They're like, the Browns have probably ran that play 1 billion times in practice and haven't been able to use it because it's a goal line package. And oh my God, I mean, could you imagine? Let's think about this, right? Because Kareem Hunt's still on this football team, and this is what we're going to get into next, the trade deadline. But hypothetically, name me a team in the NFL that's going to stop this play. Every single offensive lineman that the Browns have, right, in front, lined up as tight ends, whatever. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb in the backfield with Deshaun Watson standing there. Triple read option. With James Hudson pulling. Who's stopping it? Who stopped the 85 Bears or whatever that year was? They're not stopping it. You cannot stop when every single Browns offensive lineman is standing in front of you, and your let's see. What is he? Backup right tackle, who's going to start probably next year, is running at you full force, pissed off. And you have Nick Chubb, the best running back, the best pure runner in the NFL, who's patient and strong. You can't stop it. It's literally unguardable.
Well, and it's unique that you say that, because it's like, how many teams have the personnel to deal with something like that? Like very few, because you have to have the heavy hitters along the D line, enough of them to make our offensive line cancel out. And then you have to have the athleticism and the power at your linebacking group. So
maybe Tampa, maybe with Vita Vea.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, no, it's very interesting that you bring that up. Absolutely. Absolutely. And man, it's a great win. Great win, and a lot of not only that, but like I did the calculations in my head, or I looked at the season, I did some calculations, and this Browns team, in order to make the playoffs, realistically, if you do it by winning the division, you have to go 7-2, and you can't lose any in division games. So you're gonna need to do something these next few games. Miami hasn't been playing their best football. Buffalo may be without Josh Allen, and Tampa's not had a great year. So there's optimism. There's optimism heading into these 3 games, and I'm excited to see what we can do, man. If we can go 2-1, 1-2, or 3-0, like, you know, if we can get any of those 3 results, I'll feel good when Deshaun comes back.
You have to go 2-1 at least. You have to. Miami. Whoa, excuse me. We're about to find out whether this win was a positive or negative. I know that sounds crazy, but just hear me out. There's 2 things that happen when a team wins. A, either you celebrate, you throw it away, and you have a bye week where you just party and you're lazy and you think you got everything figured out. Or you take that film and you reapply it to the rest of your season. The bye week is meant for you to do a self-evaluation to figure out what is best for you, what you do best, what you should do going forward because it works. And the Cleveland Browns need to have that second approach. They cannot take this win as, hey, party time in Cleveland. Like, that just can't happen. There was a time to celebrate because obviously everybody was very happy the Tuesday after Halloween, but they've got to go into this Miami game like the Bengals game didn't happen. They have to be desperate, back against the wall, swinging every single game because they need to be in a much better spot when Deshaun comes back. Because you winning this football game means your season technically is not over. Because you've now gone, what, 2-1 in the division? 2-1? So,
yep.
Yeah.
So, and man, let me say this, man. If the Browns can pull off a miracle and they can get this team to 6-5 by the time Deshaun Watson comes back, do you know the energy that will be in that city? The whole season, like, will just flip. Everything changes. And are we getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here? Yeah. Yeah. But it's just, it's so nice to like feel like, you know what, there's still something there. If we would have won this game and played terribly, I don't think we would be this optimistic. But we played really well. And it was the most complete game that we have seen out of this football team since last time we played the Bengals. Bengals are a get-right game, baby. We knock on the door and we say rent is due. Like that's what happens when we play the Cincinnati Bengals. So
it's funny because it's literally been, we just finished talking about, the quarterback for Ohio State, but this Ohio, what is it? Not the Red River rivalry. That's Oklahoma and Texas. The Battle of Ohio. There you go. Has literally been, for whatever reason, an Ohio State-Michigan type of rivalry as of late. I mean, the Browns quite literally have the Bengals number, and it's unbelievable to me because, again, like we just talked about, the Browns will embarrass them and make them look bad, and then they'll come out and they'll absolutely obliterate and destroy whoever they play next. I mean, talking about the Bengals. So it's like, for whatever reason, this football team just cannot get over the hump. That is the Cleveland Browns. And Joe Burrow, that's kind of concerning. If I'm a Bengals fan, it's very concerning that Joe Burrow cannot get over the hump. That is the Cleveland Browns. Kind of like with Ohio State. CJ Stroud hasn't gotten over Michigan. So that's concerning heading into this year. But I don't know. Cincinnati is kind of a weird football team.
If the Bengals proceed to sweep the Browns again, if the Browns go and sweep the Bengals again, if they sweep them this year and next year, right? Then Cincinnati needs to officially be part of Kentucky. So that's
they
that's
already
all I gotta
are.
say.
But
yeah, I know. But like they need to redraw state lines. Is what I'm saying. So
yeah. But nevertheless, trade deadline has come and passed, and it's interesting because we're gonna feel the effects of the trade deadline facing Bradley Chubb this Sunday.
Yep.
Unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's out of our control. But the Browns did not make any moves. Kareem Hunt is still on this team. Everybody we talked about is still on this team. The Browns didn't bring in anybody other than, of course, Deion Jones, and that was well before the trade deadline. So, Tristan, are you surprised? Andrew Berry did come out and say they were close on one deal, but they couldn't make it work out. There's been speculation on who that is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I would say yes. Sort of. let me put it like that. Oh, you know what? No, we were talking earlier about who we were hearing that the potential deal was with. Originally, Derek, are you okay with me saying this? Like,
I don't care. Yeah.
Okay. Originally, Derek said that he thought he heard Daron Payne, and I said DJ Moore. I got my receivers mixed up. Brandon Cooks was the one that I had heard that the deal was almost done for. So, which would
be nuts.
Which would be absolutely awesome. But hey, you know what? Didn't happen. It's all right. Kareem Hunt didn't go, and I think rightly so. I think that Nyheim Hines got a 5th round pick.
Yeah.
Nyheim Hines. You're telling me teams weren't going to give up a 4th round for Kareem Hunt? Might as well keep Kareem Hunt at that point. Because a 4th round pick, some guys fall. We got Perrion in the 4th. We both feel like he was a 2nd round guy at least, so like you can still get value in the 4th round. Once we hit that 5th, 6th, 7th round, there's really nothing there. I mean, some special teams players, maybe you'll find a guy that can develop into something like James Hudson has.
Well, to be fair,
it's a lot of hit and miss.
Donovan Peoples-Jones was one of these guys who slid, and we got him in the 6th, right? Or 5th?
I thought we got him in. No, 6th. It was 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's rare. I mean, that's very rare. So
yeah, exactly. And I mean, so for me personally, if you lose that game, you take what you can get for Kareem Hunt, right? If you win that game, you know what? There's still a chance here. You know what? Let me see what we can do. Let me see what we can do with him if I'm not going to get the pick I want. And that's very much what Andrew Berry did. And you'll get your wish of seeing Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, and Deshaun Watson on the field all together at once, which is going to be very exciting to see if we can see it, which I'd love to see it. And Greedy Williams didn't get moved, which I thought was interesting. There were a couple of things I thought would happen that didn't end up happening. So, you know what? Hey, I'm happy with this team right now. I kind of wish we would have made a move, but hey, at this point, it's like you got to take what you can get. And I understand Andrew Berry not wanting to go all out on this team because, quite frankly, this team hasn't shown you enough to say, you know what, you guys deserve extra help. So, yeah, I'm okay with how the trade deadline unfolded personally. So, how about you, Derek? What are your thoughts? What do you think about everything as far as the trade deadline goes?
I thought the Browns were going to do something. That's why I was a little bit disappointed. And not even disappointed. It was just more so I felt like because we did win the Bengals game and the season was technically still alive, I expected us to go out and make a move Not necessarily a big move, but a move. And that that didn't happen. But I will say this: I do think Andrew Berry was a little bit thrown off the course as far as the trade deadline, is concerned because of the fact that so many guys got traded. TJ Hawkinson, Bradley Chubb, trying to think, who was the other one? Calvin Ridley out of nowhere, a suspended Calvin Ridley. Why was that deal done halfway through the year this year, not in the offseason? I mean, it was just a wild trade deadline. Chase Claypool gone. It was just nuts. So I feel like for Andrew Berry, there were so many moving pieces going on and some big hitters being thrown. And it was like we weren't in the big hitter market, I feel like. I think we were more so looking for maybe a cheap, defensive tackle, wide receiver, something along those lines. And I think just because of the constant movement, it just didn't happen, which is fine, I guess. But if you're not going to make a move, Michael Woods, David Bell, put on your big boy shoes and get in the game. Same thing goes with the defensive tackle room and edge room, which, by the way, I forgot to mention this with the Bengals game. Isaiah Thomas come to play football in Cleveland, Ohio. So it's you're going to need that, though. If you're not going to make moves, you're going to need these younger guys to step up. And hopefully that's what we see going forward. So that's kind of my general thoughts.
Well, and Isaiah Thomas might be the only IT to work out in Cleveland. So,
yeah.
Good thing those Cavs memories are over. But, Derek, I talked to Derek before the podcast started, and I think we're ready to transition into this. So I have a quarterback guess who kind of thing I built because I wanted to kind of compare, see where we're at now, what we can possibly do. I guess it's just a fun little game I came up with. So, Derek, I'm going to read you the stat lines of these 4 quarterbacks. I want you to guess which of these quarterbacks is which, okay?
Okay.
So, quarterback 1, okay? So,
you're putting some pressure on me. This feels like when the teacher calls on you in class, like,
it's okay.
Tell me
you don't have
what
to get these right because this is kind of tough. So I will say flat out. So quarterback 1 statistics: 3,532 yards, 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 87.9 QBR, 15 games played. Okay, so that's quarterback 1.
Wait, 15 games played a career in the NFL?
So each of these is either a year or an average of years. Okay. So I'll let you slide by just picking the guy. Okay. So this is going to be tough. Okay. Quarterback 2, 3,957 yards, 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 86.6 QBR, 17 games played.
Oh, that is terrible over 17 games.
Okay. Ready for this? So, quarterback 3. I almost said the person's name. Good thing I didn't. 3,603 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 107.4 QBR, 15 games played.
Okay.
And quarterback 4. 3,852 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 98 QBR, 15 games played. Okay, so first things first, I want you to tell me, out of all of those quarterbacks there, which one do you think you would prefer?
I feel like it's a trick question.
No, there's no trick questions here. This is me doing something to kind of show how I feel about this certain thing, okay? With the fan base. Okay, so first things first, which quarterback do you think you would prefer?
Okay, so number 2 was the terrible numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so mark him off the list because he sucks.
Okay.
And I don't care.
We'll rank him fourth. We'll rank him fourth. Okay.
Okay. And you know what? I got a feeling that's Russell Wilson.
Okay, go ahead.
I can't remember. Nate, list off the TD interception ratio for number 1, number 3, and number 4.
For number 1, it was 23-14.
Okay.
Number 3 was 26-6, and number 4 was 26-12.
Okay, so the 26-6 is definitely my number 1. So I'll go there.
Okay.
You're smiling, so that's not good.
No, it's good. You'll see why. All right, just do it. Okay.
Okay. So 26-6 was the one, and then you said 12 picks was 3, right?
12 picks was 4. The 6 picks was 3. 12 picks is 4, and the 14 picks is 1.
Okay, so I'm going 2 at number 4. 1 or wait a minute, 2 at number 4.
1 was 23-14 TD to INT ratio.
Okay,
4
so he
was 26-12.
Yeah, so the 26-12 is going to be ranked number 2 for me, and then number 1 will be ranked number 3 for me, with number 4 being the terrible one. Does that make sense?
So just to make sure, QB2, which was the 15-11 touchdown interception ratio, is 4th.
Is last.
Yeah, the 23-14 interception is 3rd, right?
Yes.
The 26-12 is
2nd.
And 26-6 is 1st, right?
Yes. I don't like turnovers.
Yes, exactly. So, are you ready for this? This is where I'm going to reveal.
Hold on. Can I just throw out a few names and guess like who's on this list?
Go for it. Yes.
I'm going to guess Geno Smith is on this list.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that Russell Wilson is on this list.
Okay.
I'm going to guess that Justin Herbert is on this list. I don't know why. He's just coming to mind.
Okay.
And I'm going to guess Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins went from a suburban father to a certified G. So I don't know.
Okay.
Those are just 4 random names I'm just throwing out there.
Okay. All right. Not bad guessing. So the quarterback that you ranked 4th.
Tom Brady.
No. Jacoby Brissett.
Really?
Those are his projected stats for the end of this year if he played the full year this year by ESPN. So his projected stats are 3,900 yards, 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 86.6 QBR, 17 games played. That's his projection. So of course,
that's stupid because he's not been playing that bad.
No, he's been doing good. The only issue is he's been throwing some interceptions. He's been turning the ball over. Plus, a lot of his production has been coming from his feet. So I wanted to bring that up to you.
That is true.
The quarterback that you ranked 3rd was the average of Baker Mayfield's career in Cleveland.
Wow.
He averaged 3,500 yards, 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 87.9 QBR, 15 games played. And why is that important? Well, the difference between him and Jacoby statistically is, well, he threw more he threw more touchdowns, but not enough to justify the huge drastic amount of money we were going to pay him differently.
Mm-hmm.
So the quarterback that you ranked 2nd was the 2019 year, the worst year of his career, of Deshaun Watson.
That is okay. Wow.
So that 2019 year, he played 15 games, and in those 15 games, he had 3,800 yards, 12 touchdowns. 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a 98 QBR. Okay. That guy that you ranked 1st was the 2019 year of Kirk Cousins when he was playing under Kevin Stefanski.
Let's go!
When he was playing under Kevin Stefanski in 15 games, In 15 games, he had 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, a 107.4 QBR, and 15 games played. Wow. Now, Tristan, why did you bring this up, Tristan? Why would you throw out these random stats from these random years and everything like that? Why would you do that? I did it so we could put in context to how Kevin Stefanski is as a coach, and not only that, but also what we are going to get with Deshaun Watson. Kevin Stefanski gave Kirk Cousins his best year in QPR, right? Statistically, everything in total, no. He's thrown more yards, more touchdowns in other seasons. Hasn't thrown his little picks, though. He's been more efficient under Stefanski. Deshaun Watson's worst year was better than everything sum total of Baker Mayfield did in Cleveland. His worst year on a worse team in Houston. That 2019 season. You remember that season, 2019? Yeah, they were terrible.
Do you know how stupid I feel now that I was just throwing out random names? I should have known there was a purpose to this.
No, it's okay, though. It's okay, though. But this was my goal, right? To show that Jacoby Brissett, the difference between him and Baker is not that much. Touchdowns-wise, yeah, sure, 8 touchdowns difference. Cool. But the difference between Deshaun and Baker, the average we got out of Baker and what Deshaun's worst was, in the fact that Kevin Stefanski got more out of Kirk Cousins. This was my point. I wanted to prove that Kevin Stefanski knows how to make quarterbacks efficient. He knows how to elevate the play of a quarterback. Okay, I truly believe this. And I also wanted to show that I feel like the increase of total production of our offense is going to shoot through the sky when Deshaun Watson takes over. I truly believe that to the bottom of my heart. I truly, truly, truly feel that. I think Deshaun Watson is going to change this team completely as far as how good this offense is. I think this team will instantaneously be viewed as one of the best offenses in the league, and Kevin Stefanski will instantly be viewed and put in the upper echelon of head coaches in the NFL. I wouldn't say I would put him in the same conversations as Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Bill Belichick, stuff like that. That's a little bit crazy. But he'll certainly be up there as far as this guy's a damn good coach, because he's about to have an elite quarterback that even on his worst year is better than 4 years of what we got out of Baker here. So there we go.
That's an interesting comparison. It is a little bit disturbing, though, to hear the turnover to TD ratio for Jacoby. I did not think it was that bad.
Well,
it's projections. Never mind.
It's projections. Yeah, that's the thing that you have to keep in mind here is it's ESPN projections. So I would say don't take those to heart quite yet. Just because I think that I also didn't account for rushing stats, because rushing stats are huge, especially with Deshaun and Jacoby. Those rushing stats are critical for those guys. So, but just as throwers of the football, just the throwing of the football aspect that we're going to get from Deshaun Watson is better than what we've gotten out of Baker Mayfield. And that is what's interesting. That for me is what's interesting. And Jacoby, he's going to outperform those numbers. I'm confident of that. I'm very confident of that. If he was playing the full 17-game schedule, he'd walk out with better stats than that. But the QBR difference from Jacoby and Baker is 86.6 to 87.9. So
that's insane. That's insane. It's just efficiency.
And then the difference. Yeah. Well, and then the other thing is the jump from Baker Mayfield's average, 87.9, to Deshaun Watson, 98.
That's, yeah.
Yeah. Our quarterback situation is going to be so much better, and we're going to have a more efficient quarterback. That's the exciting part for me. We're going to see a very, very, very interesting situation here in Cleveland for the years to come, and I'm excited for it. We're 3 weeks away from the Deshaun Watson era. man, I really feel like we're going to witness something special.
For me, I'm more excited because of the little things are coming around. DPJ is, like I said, getting more involved. David Bell has been getting really a couple more touches, and he's making an opportunity with them. And I tell you what, the more I see of Michael Woods, the more I like. He's not somebody to sleep on, especially with Deshaun Watson, who makes crap into serviceable. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's been the one thing I've been like holding on to my prayers for Anthony Schwartz is what does he look like with Deshaun? Because I think with Deshaun, he has the ability to elevate those receivers to a different level, which is why I don't fault the Browns for wanting to hold on to their young core of receivers for this year. See what you have, which ones work with Deshaun and which ones don't, and then from there make your moves based off of that. So not only that, but I'll be excited to see what Jakeem Grant does next year with Deshaun. Yeah. That's going to be super exciting, especially in the return game. You know, very, very exciting to see what we can get out of him and these rookies as well. I'm very, very, very excited. Man, I'm ready to go.
Let me tell you something. There has been and listen, the NFL draft is like drugs to me. Like, I'm obsessed with mock drafts. I'm like addicted to the prospect side of things. And I have been a big fan of Marvin Mims for a long time. And if he somehow ends up in a Cleveland Browns uniform with Amari Cooper, with DPJ, with David Bell, with Njoku, oh my goodness. I know he'll be a rookie, but that dude is talented. And if he slips because Oklahoma sucks and we end up with him, watch out.
We like to draft Oklahoma players. Just saying, there's a link. The bridge is built.
True.
The bridge is built.
True. So
come on.
But yeah, I mean, hey, we're still a long ways away from the draft, but we'll see. But nevertheless, do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap things up here?
Excited for Miami. I think that it's hard to preview it just because it's like, you know, it's hard to tell which Browns we're going to get. If we get this Browns team that we've seen this past week, I'm going to be very excited. And hopefully Miami doesn't get it clicking. You know, I'll be super eager for that post game just because it'll tell us everything we need to know for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I think you're going to find out who you're dealing with, you know, and what that locker room looks like now.
Well, and even if we lose, if we go toe-to-toe with them, you know, if we really take it to them, I'll still have I'll still feel like, you know what, maybe this team can pull it off. But if they can find a way to win, I just might be smoking a cigar. So I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know. For me, it's find a way. I mean, you quite literally dominated the Bengals, who's a better team offensively than the Dolphins. The only thing I'm worried about is Tyreek just burning past our DBs. But if you blitz Tua, you know, I good things can happen. So, but that's it for me. I'm all set here. So hopefully the next time we're talking to you is with a Browns win as well. So with that being said, everybody let us know your thoughts, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.
Take it easy.